In a small village, a cat named Whiskers discovered a magic fish in a pond. The fish promised 3 wishes in exchange for its freedom. Whiskers wished for endless fish, a cozy bed, and a bell that rang softly. The fish granted all 3 wishes and swam away, leaving Whiskers content and purring in the sun dot in the gentle light of dawn. On February 22, 1732, a child was born who would one day lead a revolution, forge a new nation, and shape the course of freedom in the New World. His name was George Washington, born in Westmoreland County, Virginia. He was the son of Augustine and Mary Washington. His childhood unfolded among the rolling tobacco fields and the wide Potomac River, where the values of hard work, self-reliance, and honor were instilled in him from an early age. As a boy, George displayed a deep fascination with the natural world. At just 16 years old, he began work as a land surveyor, charting the unclaimed wilderness. For days at a time, he trekked through forests and mountains, sleeping under the stars, enduring storms, and learning the lay of the land. This work forged his stamina, sharpened his judgment, and gave him a sense of purpose beyond the boundaries of his family estate. But Washington's ambitions stretched further. He longed to serve in the British military, an honor that would bring both prestige and opportunity. In 1754, that chance came. The French and Indian War erupted, a struggle for control of North America between Britain and France. At just 22, Washington was entrusted with a mission to the Ohio Valley. There, he faced his first command in battle, but the mission ended in surrender at Fort Necessity. For many, such a failure would have ended a career. For Washington, it was a lesson in resilience, strategy, and the high cost of leadership. Over the years of the French and Indian War, he proved himself in the field. His bravery under fire and steady composure in moments of chaos earned him respect among soldiers and superiors alike. By the war's end, Washington had built a reputation as a dependable leader and a man unafraid of responsibility. In 1759, his life took another turn when he married Martha Custis, a wealthy widow. Together, they made their home at Mount Vernon, a grand estate on the banks of the Potomac. Washington became a successful planter, respected in Virginia society. Yet beneath this life of stability, political unrest was building. Britain, burdened by debt from the war, began to tighten control over its colonies. New taxes, like the Stamp Act and the Tea Act, inflamed tensions. Washington, once a loyal subject of the Crown, began to see British rule as a threat to colonial liberty. By 1775, the conflict had reached a breaking point. Shots were fired at Lexington and Concord, and revolution was in the air. The Continental Congress turned to Washington, tall, commanding, and universally respected, to lead the newly formed Continental Army. It was a monumental task. The soldiers were poorly trained, supplies were scarce, and the enemy was the most powerful military force in the world. The years that followed were grueling. During the winter of 1777 at Valley Forge, Washington's troops endured bitter cold, disease, and hunger. Many lacked shoes, Some wrapped their feet in rags against the snow. But Washington's presence kept them from falling apart. He walked among his men, sharing their hardships, offering words of resolve, and embodying the endurance they so desperately needed. Asterisk in 1781. Washington seized his greatest opportunity. With the aid of French allies, he surrounded British General Cornwallis at Yorktown. The British surrender marked the decisive end of the war. Against all odds, the colonies had won their independence. Asterisk when peace came, Washington faced a choice that would define him. Many urged him to take power for himself, perhaps even to rule as king. But Washington refused. He believed that the new nation must be built on democracy, not monarchy. And so, he resigned his commission and returned to Mount Vernon, intending to live out his days in private life. Asterisk, but history had other plans. In 1789, with the new Constitution in place, Washington was unanimously elected as the first President of the United States. He accepted the role reluctantly, aware of the enormous responsibility it carried. As President, he established key traditions: the creation of a presidential cabinet, the principle of serving only 2 terms, and the peaceful transfer of power. He worked tirelessly to unite the states, strengthen the federal government, and keep the fragile republic stable in a world filled with political rivalries. Asterisk after 8 years in office, Washington made the decision to step down, once again walking away from power. His farewell shocked foreign leaders, who could not comprehend a man relinquishing such authority voluntarily. He returned to Mount Vernon, where he spent his remaining years managing his estate, tending his gardens, and welcoming visitors from across the nation. Asterisk on December 14, 1799. George Washington passed away at the age of 67. The news spread like wildfire, and the nation mourned as one. Church bells tolled, flags were lowered, and citizens gathered to remember the man who had given them liberty and refused to take it from them. Asterisk to this day, George Washington's name stands as a symbol of integrity, courage, and leadership. Without greed, he could have been a king, but chose instead to be the servant of a free people. George Washington, the father of his country.